Hello and welcome. This is the finished product of a bow that was given to me by my customer. I've unpicked and sewn or embroidered and then re-sewn up with no holes or anything in it. Nice ends on it. If you'd like to see how I did this, follow along. I'm using Embrilliance to do this. So I'm just going to go up here and get up here and get the A. That brings down the alphabet for me, and then if I go, gotta get it all in the screen for you here, if I go over to the right hand side here, there's a text box and I can put my text in there. So I'm going to put princess, whoops I forgot the N, princess, like so. And I'm also going to do the other one all at once because I want them to be about the same length. So it's Juliet. Okay, they've selected their font that they want. It is Stitchtopia's Farmhouse, which is a really pretty one. I really like this one too. There we go. And I'm just going to use the 1 inch height. Okay, so the area I have is about 5 inches wide, and we're going about 1 inch high. So in metrics, 5 inches is about 13 centimeters and 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. What I'm going to do first is, if I highlight the word and they get these little green blocks, that means I can move each individual letter. So I'm going to bring them closer together, and I want them to cover where the join is. Like, I don't want a gap in between, I want it to join. I find it easier not, you can drag it if you want, like you can drag it, but then I end up getting it all over the joint and makes a mess. So then I'm just going to go back, undo, and I just use my arrow keys. So I'll highlight it, so I've got the N highlighted, and then I'll just arrow across to the C, the E. I think that one went up a little bit. Let's go back. I'm not sure what I did there, but if you're not sure, go back. Okay, E, S, and S. Alright, so when I highlight the whole name now, it's up here, it says that it's 5 5/16 inches. So I'll need to bring that down a little bit. So I'm just going to squash it up. It's not that much. It won't make a big difference to the overall effect of the font. It doesn't change it that much. So now it's 5 inches wide, and I'm going to just squash it down a bit by going here down to 1 inch. So you can see that it hasn't really changed the effect of what the font looks like. So now I'm going to do the Juliet. I think the J is close enough. Bring all the letters across one at a time. You can also in here, if you notice, when you click on the square, you get this arrow here. You can then drag across anything that's on that side of, on the right hand side of the letter. But then again, I'm in that position where I don't know if I'm straight or not, so I'm just going to undo it, and I just do it 1 letter at a time, like that. Okay, so now I'll click on the whole word. Up here it says it's 4 13/16, so it's a little bit smaller than the 5 inch. So I'm going to stretch this one out a little bit. So there we go, we're at 5 inches. And it's a little bit taller, so I'm just going to come down to 1 inch. So they're my Princess Juliet. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to print this, cut it out and place it on the item and send it to the customer. Okay, so to print it, I think I might have my snowman set. So if my machine, I can use a snowman, so I think it's already set up, so I need to go and take that off. So if I come into the program preferences, this button here, and I come down here to printing, yeah, see here it says print alignment snowman. So I'm just going to unclick that and okay, so that now when I print it, it's not going to have the snowman on it. Okay, so now I've printed out the names and I've cut them out. All right, so Juliet's going to go on this side and Princess on this side. So I'm just going to place them on the bow like this. I'm going to place a ruler at the bottom so that I get them even. So I'm going to say like that. And take a picture of this, send it to the customer to see if they're happy with the placement, if they want it moved and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I've been back and forth with the customer a couple of times, and this is where they want it. So I've just put a little mark on my ruler so that when I come to do it after I've unpicked it, I know where I'm working from. Right, so I'm back at my software now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the princess, so I'm just going to open a new file here. Okay, go back to the file I just made, highlight the word princess, and I'm going to copy it and go to the new page and paste, and then I'm going to center it. This will be my princess file, so I'll save that file, save stitch file as. I've got it just under my jobs here. I'm just going to call it princess. Okay, and that will save it as a PES file for my machine. I'm going to go back to the original one I had. I'm going to delete the princess, so I'm just going to highlight and press the delete key, and that gets rid of it. Highlight the Juliet. I'm going to center it, so this button up here is just going to center it for me. There it is. Then I'm going to file, save stitch file as, and I'll just call it Juliet, and save. So now I'm going to print my words with the snowman, so I'm going to have to add the snowman back, so I'll leave that up there. I'll hit there, I go to printing, and I'm just going to print alignment snowman, click that on, apply, okay. So then to print it, I just got file, print preview, so that's what it's going to look like with my snowman. Then I go over to here and print. Pages, I only want the one page, so I don't want the page with all the other information on it, so just put one in there and I'll only print this. Go to my next one, which is my Juliet, do the same thing, print preview so I can see what I'm going to be printing. Go back up here to print, hit the one, okay. Alright, so now these ones will have the snowman printed on them and easier to place and ready to stitch out. Okay, so I've got my names now printed out. Just take my rotary cutter, cut it because I want it straight. It just makes it easier for me to line it up on the bow. More so with the bottom line, I want to be straight. Alright, so I'm going to unpick the sides here. So when you pull open the seam, you see the stitches on the inside. You just grab your unpicker and get it underneath the stitch and pull, and then it'll start to open and unravel. I'm just going to unpick all the way down, and I'll do the other side as well. I'll meet you back when I'm done. Okay, I'm not sure if I was recording then, so I'm just going to say this all again. So it's the Filmoplastic, and this is the one that I've got. I get a lot of my things from Embroidery Source, so I'll just list it down below anyway so you can see. So here's the sticky stabiliser. I'm going to stick it to my frame. So I'm going to stick it from down this way so that I can stick the fabric on top, but I want this to be quite firm on here, so I might just start there, flip it over, stretch it that way so that's nice and firm on there, and turn it over, and I'm just going to, I'll rip that there and there. Okay, so this is my sticky area here. So I've got my princess and I've got my Juliet. Now I need my ruler that I've marked, so I know where to put it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back here, just to hold it in place while I get things going, because I don't want it to move and get it in the wrong spot. Okay, so just remove that. Here's my dots here. It's going this way. It's pretty straight. I know it's not going to be perfect because there is a little bit of a wobble in the actual sewing, or you know, actually see like an arch there. So I'm just going to do the best I can, and I think it will look pretty. You won't see, you won't even tell that it's a little bit off. So I'm going to mark the dot. I'm just going to eyeball. So there. Okay, so it's roughly about 1/4 of an inch, which I think is about 6 millimeters away from the edge. So now I'm going to I'm going to open it up and place it on the sticky stabiliser. And it doesn't matter where I put it because I'm using the snowman feature to help with my placement. Okay, so there we go. Stick it down nicely. Yeah, happy with that. And this won't move anywhere now that it's on there. I'm going to even stick a bit more on there so that it's got more stuck on there. Now, also, I'm going to use a topper because I found when I'm doing the satin pajamas and stuff like that, putting a topper on works. I've never really done this. I'm not sure if this is, I think it's more of a, I don't know, is this called taffeta? I'm not sure. So we can see there that it's pretty straight. It's where she wanted it on there. So let's go for it. Okay, so this frame has to be attached to this hoops system so that it fits onto my machine. So this goes in under this washer here. I need to loosen that a bit. Yep, so it sits in there like that. And then tighten that up. Okay, so then it'll go into my machine this way. Alright, but first, before I do that, I have to send over the file. Okay, here I am back at my computer. I need to go to get my files. There's Princess and I need Juliet, which is that one there. So I'm just going to highlight both of them, copy and paste them to my USB D, which is my my embroidery machine. So I have it linked up to my computer, so it's there all the time. I don't use the USBs. All right, I'm here now at my machine. Okay, and I'm going to bring up, I'm going to do Princess first. That's the one that I've got ready on the frame to go. So I'm just going to set that. I don't have to do any stops or anything special. It's just the one word. So I'm going to end the edit. All right, so now I'm going to load up the frame there. Before I put the topper on, I'm going to scan it. So looking at my screen here, this is my snowman feature. So I'm just going to press that and scan. And what it will do, I'll take you back a bit here. You can see everything happening at once. it's scanning and finding that snowman feature. Okay, so now it's found it. And see if I come closer over here, it's placed it upside down because it's upside down in my frame. And it says that I can now remove the embroidery positioning mark because it's ready to go. So I'm just going to push close. It's ready to go. Then I'm going to hit sewing. Sorry about the wonky. All right, sewing. My white is on number 1, so I'm fine with that. So it's ready to go. Now all I have to do is put the topper on the frame, and I'll remove the, what I'll do is I'll open it out so we can see what's going on here. I've got some topper here. There, I can just stick it down there. Now that I've got that stuck there, I'm going to remove the paper. I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to take a couple of pieces of painter's tape and just stick that down there like that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. With this frame, it tends to bounce around a bit, so I've just got some clips with some old thread on that I just put on there as to work as a weight to hold it down. All right, we'll close this so it's back in there. Now, I've already changed my needle. I'll show you the needle that I'm using. Now, I use this for my satin pajamas. Okay, so this is the needles that I'm using. So the Schmetz Microtex. They are size 130 by 705 HM. It says here they're good for silk, microfiber fabrics, coated materials, foils, and synthetic leather. I got these from Echidna Sewing. We are ready to go. Making sure that's all stuck down properly. Okay, I'll come over here. I'm going to hit lock, and then the green light's flashing to start. I'll go back over here, and it's going to start. I'll bring you in closer. Okay, so probably what I should have done was also add a little bit of tearaway. This is just a lightweight tearaway. I'm just going to slot it in underneath just to give it a little bit more support while it's stitching out. Okay, and off we go again. Excellent, very happy with that. Move this back here so we can move these. Take it off, and that's what we got. Turn it up. Yep, beautiful. Okay, so I've lost my sound again, so I'm going to voice over this section. I've just going to take off the tape and remove the water soluble stabiliser. And here I just turn it over and remove the stabiliser. That was just the tearaway stabiliser. Now I'm going to take it out away from the sticky stabiliser. I just pull it back here. I attempt to cut it with something, but it doesn't really work. So then I ended up just peeling it close to where the embroidery was, and it seemed to come up nicely and tear away nicely after that. Okay, to do the other side of the bow, I'm just going to keep the stabiliser that I have in my hoop and cover it over with another piece of sticky stabiliser, and then take the name part, or the actual bow part, sorry, and place it on like I did before. So it's just pretty much following the same steps as I did before Here I just put on the water stabiliser. I put on a piece of cutaway underneath, take away the paper, replace the water soluble stabiliser and start stitching. And there it is, finished. And then I just continue with the other steps of removing all the paper from inside, cleaning it all up, getting rid of the excess water soluble stabiliser from the top. I just use some pointy nose tweezers to do that. Okay, so here I am at the machine, going to sew it back up. The tip here is hard, will have to be done by hand. So what I'm going to do is just hold it there. I'm going to bend back the other stitch, the fabric back around and onto itself like it was originally sewn in the first place. And then what I'm going to do is grab a pin, and I'm going to look for the holes from where it was previously sewn, where we've pulled out the thread from. Poke it through there, poke it through the back in the same position where the hole is, and then bring it back up and check at the back that it's on the same seam line that was previously there. Now I'll grab another pin, do the same thing. So I'm looking for the hole where the previous sewing was on the front piece, and make sure I'm matching it up to the back piece, through there, and check the back. And I'll do that all the way down till I can't do any more. That I've pinned it all the way down. It's as far as I can go, leaving a hole there. That's where I'm going to pull it through. And now I'm at the machine. I know it's really hard to see here because the light on my machine has made it really bright, but I'm just going to follow that previous line that was there where the previous stitching was. And then it's just like it was never done. That's the look I'm looking for. So I'm just going to sew down slowly and take out the pins as I go. I use an awl here with a pointed awl, sorry, because it just holds everything in place easier and much tighter than it does with your fingers. So yeah, I'm just going to go all the way down. This part here, I'm coming to where there's a bit of a peak, so I'm going to sew to the corner, and with my needle down in the down position when I'm at the corner, I'll just raise my foot and pivot the fabric underneath, and then sew down, checking. This is the hardest part here, I suppose, is making sure that the bottom bit here and is straight and there's nothing underneath that you're catching other fabrics or anything like that. So I just want to sew down as far as I can. Okay, so I think that's far enough. I'll go a bit further and then back stitch there, because that's the hole that I'm going to be pulling through there. Snip off my threads like that, and these threads, and then pull the ear through that hole at the bottom. Okay, so there we go, just neatening it all up, pulling out the tip there. Now we're at the final part. We're just going to be closing up our holes here and here. Okay, so we have a matching thread here. I've just made a little knot in the base of the thread there, or the bottom of the thread. I'm just going to open up the seam. I'm going to come in from behind. It's a little bit awkward because of the bow bit, but I can't remove it. So I like to come up from behind where my original stitches, or the original stitches, were, because I didn't make the bow. So and pull through the thread like that so that it's in there behind. You won't see it later on. And I like to leave these just to pull on later too, to tighten up the threads. So we're going to do a ladder stitch. So from here, I'm just going to follow in where their stitches were previously. All right, so this stitch went from here to here. So I'm just going to follow that and pull my thread through. The next one, well, the way you do ladder stitch is you follow opposite. So it's on this side. So go to the other side exactly where it came out, but over here, I'm going to put it in there. And then you take like a chunk, and I'm going to go where the previous hole was there, where the thread was previously, and then pull that through. Now you don't have to pull it tight at this stage, you can just do it loose. Okay, so now the thread's at the top, and I want to come down and go directly in there where the hole is. I don't know if you can see the hole. Might when I'm editing, see if I can zoom right in so I can show you the hole. So in this case, in this one, we're here, and we're going to be going where this thread's coming out. That's our hole there. Let's get my finger underneath. It's a bit awkward. It's a bit tight here, but we'll get there. All right, so I'm going to go in where that thread's coming out of, and as close as I can to where I can see the hole from the previous thread that was there, and pull through. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So my thread is coming out on this side. I'm going to go opposite, but I'm just going to go where the previous one was. So like that. And then again here. So where the previous holes are, I'm just going to go through there. And back here where the previous holes were. Now if I pull them together, those out the way, you can see that they're going across. It's like a ladder. And then if I was doing it the traditional way, I'd be doing it like on the edge here. But I'm just following what was there previous. So in there, without catching the material that's on the outside of the bow. So in that hole and out where that hole was, and pull through. Okay. Okay, I'll keep going doing this, and I'll meet you at the end and show you how to finish it off. Okay, I'm coming up to the end here. I've done all my backwards and forwards here. You can see it's a big ladder. I'm coming near the end, and I'm still just following along where the previous stitches were before. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And here is where the stitches are still there from before. So what I'm going to do is just go past them a couple of times, like just to reinforce that's not going to come undone there. So it's the same thing, just going backwards and forwards on each side of the fabric that's coming together. And that should be enough. This should be the last one. All right, so I'm here at the end, and I've got my ladder stitch. And what I'm going to do is just tug on this end. You can see all the stitches in there loose. And if I tug on them, just gently, because I don't want to break the thread, just keep tugging. It brings all of the threads up together. I've got some here that needs a bit to be pulled a bit tighter. Okay. I'm scared I'm going to break the thread. If I'm gentle enough, I won't. And if you want to stop and not have to do it as bad as I do, you can keep it like a little bit firmer as you're going along. There we go. All right, I think that might do it. So if I open it up here, all the threads now are nice and tight in there. That's it. Let's give it a little last tug. It's all good. Now we're going to finish off. Oh, my threads come undone, come out of the needle. Quickly do that. Okay. So here where I am, end, all I'm going to do is take like a couple of threads of the fabric around where the thread's coming out, pull it through till I get a little loop. You can see I've got a little loop there. I'm going to take my needle and put it through that loop, bring it through and pull, and it just makes a little knot. So we're going to do that again. We're going to go through where we were before. We have a loop. But this time I'm going to go through the loop twice. So 1 and 2 before I pull it through. And pull it through. And then I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. So through where my knot was before, through, get my little loop, take it through and knot. So that's done. Now what I'm going to do is take my pin where the knot is, my needle, and push it through where it is and come out at the back, pull. I'm just going to tug a little bit and hopefully it brings the knot in through with it. Doesn't do it all the time. In this case, it's not a big deal because it is hidden in that groove, but I want to get it in there as much as I can. But yeah, look, there is a bit there, but you're not going to see it. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip my thread here. Okay, and that's done. The other end here where I have the old threads, I just come in and snip them off. Inside there, got 1. 2. So that's that part. Now it's just this bottom part here. I need to do this bit. Okay, so I'm going to start it from this end. I'll take my thread, I'll make a knot. I just put the end on my finger, hold it, twist it around like that. And then if you rub your fingers together, you get a bit of a twist going on, and then pull it down with my nail. And that gives me a knot usually. There you go, it's not going to do it because we're on camera. All right, there we go. That's my knot there. Sometimes I'll snip the end off. You don't have to. I'm not going to see it. All right. So I'm going to start from the top part. So I'm just going to open it up a bit. It's going to go through some of the fabric and come out at the point here. Okay, so my thread's coming out at the point. I'm going to hold these together how they would be. I'm going to pick a side, which is my top and bottom. Doesn't matter. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to take my thread through and take a little bit. And it's the same thing as what we did before, the ladder stitch, but this time we're doing it right on the edge of the fabric on the fold where it's folded here. So directly opposite from here, I'm going to go up to the top and take a little bit, a bit more than that. Take a little bit out of there like that and pull it through. Now my thread came out of this side up there, so I'm going to go to the bottom part exactly where that one came out and do one down there. As I come around the bend, holding it together, right? So I'm coming out the bottom, so now I'm going to go into the top piece. Do the same thing. You might need a little bit bigger. Okay, thread's coming out of the top, so I'm going to go through the bottom. And you just continue that same process until you get to where the join is here. Now I've done a back stitch in my sewing here, so I don't have to worry about that unraveling at all. It's not going to unravel with old, from the old stitches like we did at the other end. I'll just keep going and then we'll finish it off. So we're at the end here. And what I'm going to do is on the inside of where the two fabrics are joining, I'm going to take a couple of threads of the fabric, pull it through so I have a little loop. Oops, looks like stuffed up a bit there. That didn't go all the way around. All right, so we'll fix that. What have I done? Luckily, I haven't made my knot yet, so I'm going to go back. I'll get back through there. There we go. All right, so I've still got all my threads, so I can just tug on it and pull it through like we did before. There we go. So that fixed that. All right, so back to this bit. So in the groove there, I'm just going to take a couple of threads from the fabric, pull it through till I get a little loop. Take my needle, place it through the loop and pull down. That's going to make a knot. I'm going to do it again and go through the loop twice this time. So make my loop. I'm going to go 1 and 2, pull, makes a nice knot. And I always do the last one for good luck, for extra strength. All right, so there you go. That's that. Take the end of the pin on the knot through. I'm going to go push through to the back, pull it through, tug a little bit on the thread, bring the knot down through like that. Take my snippers, snip the thread, and that's it. Okay, so now we have the finished product. It's our bow with the name. It's all sewn up, no holes. The ends are all good. And that is how I would do it. And it looks beautiful. I hope my customer is happy with that. And if you enjoyed this or got anything out of it, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving it a like, asking me a question, or leaving me a comment would be good. And thank you. See you in the next one.